The Las Vegas Raiders officially began their off-season team activities, OTAs, on April 17th. A lot of players are heading to the facility, hanging out, talking to the coaches, talking to GM Dave Ziegler. But one key thing happened to a star player with the Raiders that is going to have an impact on this season and can quite possibly have an impact on the NFL draft. And we tried to warn people about this. We tried to say this might happen, but a lot of people said, hey, you're just being negative, you're just being negative. Well, it is finally happening now. We're trying to drop Raiders content almost every day. Let me know what documentary Raiders topic you would like me to make this week.
Drop it in the comments below.
I'm thinking Hugh Jackson era. I'm thinking John Madden era.
I'm thinking all kinds of things.
We know that Josh Jacobs right now is not happy about his contract situation with the Raiders. We've heard Mark Davis try to say positive things about him in the media. We've heard Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler praise Josh Jacobs. And oh, guys, Josh Jacobs should be feeling so lucky because in the middle of the season, well, you know, Josh McDaniels made him a team captain. Isn't that nice? But none of that really matters unless Josh Jacobs is going to be paid. He is franchise tagged right now, and he's made it clear that he does not want to play on the franchise tag.
What do you want them to do?
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to get franchise tagged. I mean, I feel like nobody really do.
And I do want to say the number one reason why I believe the Raiders should pay Josh Jacobs. And we know he's made cryptic messages on social media saying that if you want me to be the hero, you gotta pay me like the hero.
But if you want me to come back and be the hero, then you have to pay me like a hero.
You want that franchise tag to turn into a long-term deal? You don't want to one more.
And even when Darren Waller was traded away, he said S is sad for real, and he keeps making more cryptic social media posts. He had one that happened in the wee hours of the night just last night, 22 hours ago. Josh Jacobs said, respect goes both ways, would hate to see it. Not sure what this means, but we're pretty sure it's about the contract situation. And you know, free agency was rough because not only did we see Josh Jacobs react negatively on social media, but you also saw Devontae Adams say some negative things. He was frustrated about people DMing him, asking him how he felt about the Jimmy Garoppolo signing, and even had this one weird Instagram story where, you know, there's some audio where this guy is saying, don't F with me.
Bet you young dursties think that you're tough.
Playing this
And maybe you are.
quote.
But you don't with me. You don't with me.
And so it just seems like there's a lot of negative energy right now around our star players. And even at the Pro Bowl, Josh Jacobs, and I was shocked to actually see him say this, he said that the Raiders have not disrespected him yet.
I ain't felt disrespected in any type of way yet, so we're gonna see how it goes.
And it seems like the disrespect is happening. He's not getting the contract he wants. We know that the Raiders and Josh Jacobs have not had any contract talks since the franchise tag was applied. Now, the Raiders have until mid-July to reach a new agreement with Josh Jacobs. Who knows if that will happen? And that is why, according to Tom Pelissero, Josh Jacobs has not signed his franchise tag tender, and Josh Jacobs did not report to voluntary offseason programs today. OTAs are happening. Well, Josh Jacobs is deciding not to go there. And I know some people are going to say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's voluntary. When you are a team captain, when you are somebody who is trying to help lead your team to the Super Bowl, you're going to need to go to OTAs. And it's a symbolic move that shows how bought in you are in with this current administration. And that's why you had a lot of players who have a rocky situation with the Raiders show up at OTAs and have a lot of high spirits. And it was good to see Jimmy Garoppolo, the handsome devil right here, showing up. He's got a little bit of salt and pepper going on right now, Jimmy G. I think we're going to need to reduce the stress. And we also had Chandler Jones showing up at OTAs. Let's hope he bounced back next year. Jacoby Myers, the new Raider, showing up at OTAs. And you also had Hunter Renfrow in positive spirits show up at OTAs. And this is a guy who's been rumored to be on the trade block, and even he's showing up. However, he did get his contract extension last year, so he's going to be in brighter spirits than somebody like Josh Jacobs. And look, Josh Jacobs is getting paid roughly $10.2 million on the franchise tag. And according to Spotrac, his market value is about $12.8 million. I think he wants to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. And if you do have the year that that he had last year, maybe you should be the highest paid running back in the NFL. Genius Josh McDaniels decided to not exercise his 5th-year option, decided to play this dude in the freaking Hall of Fame game, freaking preseason matchup, disrespecting him, making it seem like he's on the trade block. Josh Jacobs took the challenge and he went off and balled out. And the bottom line is, look, I know that running back is an undervalued position in the NFL, even though running backs block like offensive tackles, catch passes and run routes like wide receivers, and also run the freaking football right up the gut, and they're tough as hell. But unfortunately, the position is undervalued in the NFL. However, Josh Jacobs is 25 years old. He's 25 years old, barely coming off of his rookie contract, and just check out the freaking numbers. Stats don't lie, bro. Number 1 yards in the NFL out of every running back. Number 1 PFF grade in terms of running and offensive grade. Touchdowns, almost had number 1. He was about 5 shy away from being number 1 in touchdowns. And missed tackles forced. This is a PFF stat that I love. Missed tackles forced, broken tackles. Josh Jacobs, 90. Number 1 above Nick Chubb. And I know that running back's undervalued. I know we could just have a running back committee, but I don't think that any random running back is going to be able to replace Josh Jacobs. And that is why the Raiders did not run the football with many other running backs besides Josh Jacobs last year. Even when Jacobs was banged up, they knew their offensive line is not that great, and Josh Jacobs made the offensive line look better. That's a straight up fact, and that is why Amir Abdullah only had 4 attempts. You don't want him running the football. Brandon Bolden, yeah, we know he's going to get less than 4 yards to carry. He's a little up there in age. And Zamir White, did see some action, but we did see some mistakes running the football at times, and that is why he did not get the rock nearly as much. Now, maybe you can say that Zamir White can make a big jump in year 2. Perhaps the Raiders go and draft another running back, but I don't think anybody is going to be able to replace the production of Josh Jacobs. I don't think you can just plug any other running back with this offensive line and expect the same results as what you got with Josh Jacobs. He has 90 and number 1 missed tackles forced for a reason, because he has to break tackles in order to get some production with this Raiders offensive line. And the number 1 reason why I do believe the Raiders should pay Josh Jacobs, despite all this drama that's happened, despite the fact that he wants to be paid, very handsomely compared to other running backs in the NFL, is because of the message it sends to your team. Does Josh McDaniels want to send this negative message to his team? Does he want other players, other rookies, other young guys to know that even if you go out there and you perform as the best in your position, you're the best amongst all your colleagues, you're the number 1 in the NFL, even if you do all of that with the Raiders, well, it's still not going to be good enough to get paid and to get a good contract. You don't want to send that message to your team, because then other players are going to start thinking, well, hey, I don't know if I should have much faith in the Raiders. Even if I ball out, even if I'm the greatest at my position, I'm probably not going to get paid here. Do you really want to send that message? And Jacobs is not only a running back, he's a captain. There is a emotional factor and an inspirational, motivational factor that he adds to this team that does not have to just do with playing on the football field. There's more things that he's adding to this team. He's a homegrown talent drafted by the Raiders. We keep moving on from all of our former first-round picks. We should probably try to keep at least one of them, especially the guy who's done nothing but ball out his entire career. I get that it's a business. I get that the running back position is overvalued, but I think the Raiders have a really tough decision to make, because I think this can have a negative domino effect if they don't play their cards wisely. Let me know in the comments what you think the Raiders should do. Check out some of these other videos you may have missed on my Raiders channel. My name is WiFiWillie, man. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one. Is it fine?